So I'm going to start now. Now, before I show you what the exercises are, I'm just going to do some mobility work. So I'm in a standing position. I'm going to do circles with my knees. So I'm going to do, say, 5 going round to one side and then 5 going round to the other side. And I can already feel a few cracks in my knees too, and in my ankles. So this is ankle and knee mobility. So if you've been sat down quite a lot today, what tends to happen is then you've got restricted blood flow through your legs while you're in that sitting position. So it's really good to just start with a little bit of mobility with the bottom half of the body. So you can see how I'm changing directions a lot here and just going round and round in circles like that. I'm not going to need my glasses anymore. Okay. Then I'm going to do it from the hips. So I'm going to go round in one direction, say 5 times. I know you might feel silly doing this, but it's a good hip opener. And I just want to start trying to get a little bit of blood flow through the body first. So just changing directions. Or if you feel like one part of your body is tight, like I can really feel tightness in the front, so I push around to the front quite a lot. Just get a little bit of a stretch through there as well. Like that. And now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing, but I bring my arms up and then I drop them down. I call these throwdowns. So it's a good way of loosening up hamstrings and glutes, but I always find that this raises my heart rate as well. And I'm particularly sore and tight in my hamstrings and my glutes today. So I like to go through the sequence a couple of times because as I warm up, I feel like everything's starting to loosen off. And then I can get deeper into each stretch so I can feel the mobility in my body start to improve each time I go around. So we'll go back to the start and do the ankles and the knees. So you see here how I'm already starting to puff a little bit. So this, what I like about mobility drills, which is what these are, is yes, it improves your mobility, but it raises your heart rate at the same time. So encourages blood flow through the body. So I like to use them as a warm up before a workout, but really I'm working on my mobility at the same time. So I'm killing 2 birds with one stone. A few more like that. And then round through the hips. So you can see each sequence, I just try and make the circles a little bit bigger. And as silly as it sounds, it's actually working on your balance as well, because you've got to try and keep that nice, keep your feet together and balance yourself while you're pushing your hips out side to side. Harley's just looking for things to eat, so I'm walking around. Ain't you, darling? Right, a few more throwdowns. So come all the way back and then drop forward. And I know when I'm loosening off because then my fingertips start to drag across the ground. And you can tell that I'm tight because I can barely lean back. So I'm very tight in my chest and my shoulders. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we'll work on a little bit more shoulder mobility. So I'm going to do 5 circles backwards. And then 5 normal bodyweight squats. Then I'll do 5 circles forwards. And then 5 narrow push-ups on my knees. Really, I've got to do it over here so you can actually see what I'm doing. This sequence I'm going to do 3 more times. So circles backwards times 5. Bodyweight squats. So if I show you sideways, I'm still trying to get all the way down with the squat, but keeping the chest up. 5 circles forwards. So you're really just going to sit there and just stare at you the whole time. Make sure you're doing the workout. One more time through. There's little bits of chewed up wood everywhere because of this one. So circles backwards, 5. Squats. Circles forwards. Last lot of push-ups. Again, these are just warm-up push-ups, so they don't need to be, on your toes or particularly low to the ground either. So So let's do some lunges with what I call a lateral stretch. So pistol grips the fingers like that, step forward, rotate either side, step out, and then come down with the other leg. So warming up the legs, but loosening up through your torso. I'm going to do, say, 5 each leg. So that's 2 done on each leg. Three done. 2 more on each leg. So just take your time. Try and push the back knee down. One more each side. Remember, this is just part of the warm-up. Very nice. Now a stretch for the glutes. This is a nice simple one. Just hug the knee in, hug the knee in. Keeping the chest up. And it's also giving us a little bit of practice with balancing on each leg, which there will be a little bit more of later on. So really hugging the knee into the chest. And now to make it more dynamic, opposite hand to opposite foot. Let's say 10 on each leg. So that sequence one more time, and then the warm-up part is done. So again, into the lunge with the arms out, stepping out and down, either side. 5 each leg. All the dogs start barking at each other this time of night. We'll have a conversation. It's the last one for me. Each side. Hug the knee. Pull it right in. Stretch out the glutes. Let's do, say, 5 more each side. Nice one. And then opposite hand to opposite foot, 10 on each leg. Now, last little stretch for the inside the hips. So you can keep it here if that's intense enough. You just want to stretch through your inner thigh. If you want to get lower, bend all the way down and push your elbows out. That might be enough, or you can go side to side. Like that. When you go side to side, actually, even if you have your heels quite close, it will also help stretch the back of your ankles, which for most people, they're quite tight there and they don't even realize. I'm always tight there. So this is a stretch I do all the time. You can even kind of rock side to side, because most people are tight in their hips. It's a very common place to be tight, as well as the ankles. So the first exercise I'm going to take you through, I don't really know what to call it. So I'm going to call it a bird dog. If you have a better name for it, you can tell me what to call it instead. It's going to challenge your balance, your unilateral leg strength, and hamstring flexibility. So I'm going to start on my non-dominant side. So I'm going to demonstrate to you on my worst leg. So hopefully I don't embarrass myself. But I'm essentially going to bend forward at the hips. Arms will be out long. My back leg will be straight. I'm going to try and come all the way down until I make a completely straight line with my body. Hold for, say, 3 seconds. And then come out gently. Just to not drop out of it. Let's do 10 like that. So I've done 1. I'm going to do it 9 more times on the same leg. It's going to come all the way out. Point the back toe until my body makes a completely straight line, and then come out. So it will challenge the flexibility of the leg that's on the floor, because I'm trying not to bend the knee. There's still like a soft bend in the knee, but no more than that. And then come out, hold. So hold it for say 3 seconds and then come back in. And also if you're tight in the hips, which I am, it's very hard to lift that back leg and keep it completely straight. So that's 3. And it's more challenging on spongy floors too. So I made this even harder for myself by putting the spongy floor there. Let's do another one. Come all the way out. Hold 3 seconds and then come in. So that's 4. And we're going to go again. If you're doing this in bare feet, even better. I would, but it's a bit cold and there's a lot of spiders up here. Let's hold that. Come in. I can tell because I'm tight in my chest and my shoulders. It's very hard for me to extend my arms out. So it's working on my chest and shoulder flexibility as well. How many have I done? 4? 5? I don't know. I'll have to watch the video back. I think I've done 4. Let's come all the way out. So I'm halfway through. I can already feel burning go through the back of my calf. It's good. It's challenging me now. So just slow everything down and really hold. That's your challenge. Not rush it. All the way out. Stretch your arms out. That's it. So I'm going to do 4 more on this side and then I'm going to switch. See, now I'm getting wobbly. 3 more. Lynn, I know you're there and you'll be killing this one. You'll be giggling at me. All right, come all the way out. Hold it. On, straight. I've got 2 more left. And I've got to shake my leg out because it burns my foot as well. It works all the muscles in the bottom of your feet. That's why I like these unilateral. Unilateral means one leg or one arm, single leg, single arm. It works all your stabilizer muscles, which don't get worked when you do the big heavy weights. They just lay dormant and let the big muscles take over. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm going to do 2 more. I'll let you choose how much you challenge yourself. Oh, yeah. I'll go 1 more. I'm going to try not to kick a little dog. So make sure that I don't kick him. So I might have to do it this way. My last one before I change legs. Okay, all the way up. Really hold the intensity. Hold the intensity. Straight. Now it's much harder to do it this way. Oh, not getting it. A little bit this way. You know why? Because I'm using the straight lines on here to guide me. I'm going to do 1 more. You're welcome to laugh at me when you see me struggle. Oh, that was better. Okay. I'm going to shake it out. Right, that's one side done. I'm going to do the other side. So you can see the intensity is having the discipline to hold the position. It's not just about the strength. It's about the mental discipline to go to that point where it's burning and you have to hold your balance and just stay there for a couple of seconds. So I'm going to go straight onto the other side now. Straighten that leg right out. Arms out as long as you can. Hold for 3 seconds and come back in. This is my stronger, more balanced side. So I'm just going to match how many I did on that side to this side, which when I'm not recording myself is much easier for me to count my reps. Today, not so easy because I'm explaining what I'm doing instead of thinking about how many reps. Okay, so that's my second one. Okay, I'm going to come out. Thinking about lifting that back leg, trying to keep the knee straight if I can. Arms out really long and in. So I can feel a stretch through my chest and shoulders. I feel a stretch in the hip. I feel a stretch in the hamstring. I have to use all those leg muscles to hold my balance. Oh, that's it. You can hear someone barking. That's what I'm looking at. And again. So if you don't find this very challenging and you want to make it harder, I would hold that point for longer. Okay, now that I've done 4, maybe 5 reps, I've lost count already. Now I'm feeling the burn in my leg, my calf. So yes, hamstring is working very hard. Lower back has to work hard. Core is working hard because we're having to balance ourselves. So we're doing a plank in the air, essentially, like a Superman. Okay, that's 6 reps. I like exercises like this because it's all body weight, but it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or really advanced. This is still challenging if you switch everything on and work hard to keep it really straight and really tight and hold it. Now, I think I've got 2 more. I can tell now after doing 20 reps, both sides together combined, how much it's worked my lower back as well, just to hold that balance. I'm coming out of it really controlled, trying not to drop and fall out of it. I've got 1 more rep. I can't guarantee that my counting is great today. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's the first exercise. We're going to move on to a chest exercise, chest and shoulder. I call it a stability push-up because you start from the floor, not from the top. And I'll start with the beginner option and then we'll slowly increase the intensity. So you can start with beginner as well. And if you find you're nailing it, you can move on to intermediate and advanced. So when you do a stability push-up, you're starting from your chest on the floor. So it's like an upside down push-up to what most people know. The beginner option is push-ups on your knees, obviously. So you're only going to lift your torso, not your knees. And your hands will be in line with your mouth. So when you lay on the ground, your hands will be in line with your mouth. Now, the next part is you're just going to push up without breaking at the hips and then come down. Elbow down, then push up. So I'll show you an example of what not to do so you know if you're doing it right or not. This is what not to do. See how I was breaking at the hips? So I'll show you one more time. This is what not to do. So what you want to be able to do is push straight up without breaking at the hips. And another common error is to line your hands up with your mouth, and then when it's time to push, shift your hands back and push. Because the further back your hands are, the easier the exercise is. So to make it a stability push-up, your hands need to stay in line with your mouth. Don't let them shift backwards, and then just push straight up. Let's do 4 more like that before we move on to the next level. Straight down. If it doesn't seem intense, then this is your warm-up. If it is intense for you, you can stay with this level, because then I'm going to start to show you the next level. So that's level 1. That can be very, very challenging because when you start from the bottom, you're starting from the weakest part of the push-up. Because you know what it's like when we do push-ups in like a cardio class. Not many people will put their chest on the ground. They do the top half of the push-up, but that's the stronger part because there's less lengthening or less extension through the chest and the shoulders. So when you start from the bottom, you're starting from the fully stretched position, which is the weakest part and the hardest part of a push-up. So if you do stability push-ups regularly, not only does it improve your normal push-up, it also improves your core strength because you have to use your core to stay switched on and engaged so that when you lift your chest, you're not breaking at the hips because your core is engaged. So that's why it's a stability push-up. So level 2 is still on the knees, so we're not coming up onto our toes yet, but our hands will now be in line with our temples. So this is how we're going to make it harder. So you come down, your hands are now in line with your temples, and you're just going to push straight up and straight down. Straight up, straight down. I'm going to do 10. being really careful not to start breaking at the hips and not to shift my hands back towards the back of my body. I think I've got 3 more. Again, I'm talking instead of concentrating on what I'm doing. So essentially, the push-up, the level 2, is like that. And you're just pushing forward and back like that. If it feels like, just got a bit of leaf or something in my mouth. If it feels like it's really hard to engage, it's just a new concept. You're probably used to doing the reverse push-up, we could call it the back to front push-up, where you start at the top and you come down. But now you're working the bottom half of the push-up because you're starting from that all the way down. So it's much harder to start an exercise when the beginning of the rep is the weakest part. It's always that little bit easier if you start at the stronger part and you move into the harder part and out of it. But that's why stability push-ups are so effective. So let's move on to a little bit more of a advanced option, which is now on the toes. So let's go back to hands in line with mouth, and I'm going to push up onto my toes without breaking at the hips. So I'm just going to get that out of the way so I can do it right in the middle. So hands in line with mouth. I'm going to push up onto my toes and then down. I think my hands can be a little bit further up. Push up onto the toes and down. I'm going to do 10. That's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Now, if you're crazy, and I know I've got some crazy people watching me, if you want to make it harder again, you can. You will do it on your toes, but now your hands are aligned with your temples. Okay? Many years ago, when I did this as a course, the female push-ups were in line with the mouth, and the male push-ups were in line with the temples. And I was offended by that because I want to be able to do male and female push-ups. So I practiced a lot. So I'm going to line my hands up with my temples and push up onto my toes. This is the last time through before we move on to something else. Okay, so temples. That was a shit one, by the way. I did a shit rep then. I broke at the hips. I could feel it. That's better. I'm going to do 10. I've done 4. Ooh, one more. Oh yeah, that was fun. So that really worked the core, chest, shoulders. That's why you could call that strength training, mobility, core strength, functional fitness. Very, very good exercise. One of my favorites. Now, we've only got 5 minutes left. So we're going to do one more exercise and then our 30-minute workout is done. This is called, my dogs are rolling around in the backyard. They're having lots of fun. This one is called a Cossack squat. Now, some of my clients have actually done this with me on the TRX, which is a great alternative as well. But it's essentially a one-legged squat. So again, we're back to training legs. It works unilateral leg strength. It will stretch your adductors, which are your inner thighs. So it's very good for mobility, flexibility, strength, everything. That's why I love these exercises, because if you get really good at these type of exercises, then when you go do things like strength training, you are so much more stabilized and you're a lot less likely to injure yourself. So I'm going to start on my weaker leg, or I am left-handed, but my left leg has always been my weaker leg. Don't know why, but anyway, So I'm going to show you. So my right leg is out to the side. Okay. I'm going to do the hardest version. So you don't have to go all the way down. I'm literally going to come all the way down and then push up. That was 1. Okay. I'm going to do 10. So go, see how this toe is pushed out to the side? 3. And the challenge is to not lift this heel. You could just go halfway down if it's too much. And this is where if you have like a broomstick or something, you can hold for support as well. So you see how much strength and flexibility it takes through my inner thigh to actually get down into the position, both sides. So I've got to really lengthen through my inner thighs. I think I've done 4. See, I've lost count again. 5. 6. Very, very controlled on the way down as well. 7. So I'm not dropping into it. 8. 9. Woo, I'm actually going to go to 12. Ooh, 10. These grunts are real, by the way. Ooh, 11. Ooh, one more for me. 12. Check it out. Check it out. Now the other leg is burning as well because it was holding. So that's an isometric contraction on the other side. Lifting the toes, so my shin, that shin is very tired. All these little muscles that you don't think to work, that's what unilateral or single leg exercises are good for, is all your smaller muscles really start to engage. Whereas if you do big, heavy compound exercises, the bigger, stronger muscles will do the work because they're strong enough to do it, and the smaller ones remain dormant. So that's why single leg work is for everyone, not just for beginners. Everybody needs to do it. And it's a good test of to me, it's a good test of your true strength, because if you can do things single leg, to me, that's far more impressive than doing double leg, big, heavy squats. Okay, so I'm procrastinating because I don't want to do this side. Okay, so now this leg is out to the side. This is our last set, by the way. We've only got 2 minutes left. So when this set is done, the workout's actually over, okay? So we're going to come all the way down. See? Oh, man, so much easier on this side. That feels like nothing. So that means I need to do more cossack squats, okay? All the way down. 2. But even though it's easier, I'm not speeding it up. I'm trying to keep the same control the whole way. 3. 4. And I'm keeping the knee turned all the way up like that, and that one as well. 4. You know what? And this is also a bit slippery, which is making it harder as well. Not that I'm making excuses. 6. All right, I'm halfway. 7. 8. I can feel myself slippering, so just going to reset. 9. Hopefully I'm not putting you off your counting by me counting out loud. I've got 2 more. Yay. Last one. There we go. Ooh, I'm going to shake those legs out. Now, if you like that workout, it will stay here as a replay. Please comment and tell me what you think of it. And it's a sequence. So there's no reason why you couldn't hit replay and do that whole sequence again if you're crazy enough to want to train for an hour. Can you not do that? This is my life. This is what my life is really like. Thank you very much to those of you that tuned in live. I really value your feedback on what you think. If you like it, I will do more. There's other pre-recorded workouts on my YouTube as well. So if you want, there's a TRX workout, there's a kettlebell workout, there's a Swiss ball workout. Now I've got a full body mobility workout, heaps of stretch videos, lots of stuff. So I've got 15 seconds left. I'm very proud of myself for keeping it under 30 minutes. For those of you that train with me at Club Live, I'll see you at the gym, and I'll see you next time. Catch you guys.